Hello everyone, I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host here for Plane Time, number 29, with the Florida Aviation Network, and that is a project of the National Aerospace Safety Foundation. And we're coming to you, again, live and in the clear. We'll explain that later on to you what that means, out of our studio here in the Oviedo Mall at the Gizmo Productions USA facility. And we come to you here with Plane Time, and it actually started out as a maintenance priority show. And the reason that we do this is because flying is involving a lot of different aspects. We don't talk about weather. I don't, but Dr. George Bertuscus does. And it involves weather, engineering, aerospace, airways facilities, flying, piloting, operating, maintenance. And we are proud to have with us today one of our key sponsors here that helps us put this on. And all of the volunteers, we are a volunteer organization and have been from the beginning and probably will continue as long as you see this meatball here. We are going to be an organization of volunteers. I'm a volunteer. My wife's a volunteer. Obi is a volunteer, the guy that runs this. Obi, too, is a volunteer, and that is Obi's son. But Obi, without your dedication, your hard work, all this would not happen. And all of the volunteers that look up to you for that guidance and leadership, we appreciate it. Today is a very, very interesting day that we have Piedmont Airlines, a representative of Piedmont, and they have embraced us because they see that our heart is in a similar way to their heart as far as the passion for the aviation industry and to safely move people from point A to B. And all the myriad of actions that go on to make that happen doesn't happen by accident, it's by plan. And I'm going to take this opportunity now to welcome Tyler.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Tyler Tenbrink.
You're right.
And Tyler he is the Director of Talent Acquisition.
I am.
And, you know, before I met Tyler, I didn't know what a Talent Acquisition Director was. But he's a front man, and he goes out and he finds the individuals that go into Piedmont Airlines to help them run. And Tyler, what else do you do? I mean, Piedmont? What's it doing today?
I mean, I've got a team of about 50 people. It's not just me, but we have Piedmont is a team of 11,000 people. So it takes an army for us to go out there and find people that work for us. So our team members are extremely talented, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to get the staff to build up I like to call it the regional empire that we're seated with. Mm-hmm. So, but going on at Piedmont Airlines is we're still growing. We obviously took delivery of our 145s a few years ago. We continue to add those to the fleet. And we recently announced that we will be starting to take delivery of Embraer 175 starting in 2028. So those will start delivery, and that's just another new aircraft type and another way that American has said, you guys are doing a great job. We want to give you some more work.
And I'm sure that you guys will rise to that occasion. And the Piedmont Airlines, I heard this somewhere a long time ago, but what is Piedmont Airlines? Piedmont is people. And without your people, you don't really have an airline.
No, not at all.
So, we talked about this earlier, and I've heard a rumor. There's a rumor going around that we have a critical shortage in the industry. Is that a fact?
That is true.
Tell us about that.
Well, we've got a critical shortage of pilots, and we've got a critical shortage of mechanics. We are looking at a massive retirement load on the pilot side through 2035, and the same thing with mechanics into the early 2030s. Mm-hmm. Both are pretty significant, and we are starting early, and that's why we've started our pipeline programs. you are going to see the easiest and the best way to get into the airline industry, if you are just starting out, is to join one of our programs.
We're going to develop that more in segment 2. This is segment 1 here. Segment 2, Tyler is he's going to give you the secret of how to be successful with Piedmont Airlines.
That's right.
But we can't release that until the end of segment 2. And also, you get Wings credit for. By the way, did I mention that? I didn't. The FAA is our partner in these presentations, and they do that because they want to see us succeed, and we want to see them succeed.
Yep.
What? We're concerned about the FAA succeeding? No, they're going to succeed, but the FAA is people too. Wait a minute. Piedmont Airlines is people, FAA is people. There's a common ground there.
There is.
We're all people. And Tyler, as far as the AMT, and I want to pull up the pilot end of it more on segment 2. Let's talk a little bit about the maintenance aspect of it.
All right.
How important is it to the airline and the management and the leadership to have good maintenance?
You've got to have great maintenance. If we didn't have mechanics, we wouldn't be flying aircraft. And a lot of people don't really ever see the aircraft maintenance personnel, and they're one of the key personnel in the airlines at all, period. They're the ones who are fixing the aircraft. If they break, they're the ones maintaining it to make sure it stays safe to fly. And they're the ones that are signing off to making sure that, when the pilots are getting in it to fly, that it's ready to go. And they're making sure that the airline continues its operation. If we didn't have them, we wouldn't be around. And that is one of the most important things to the airline. Operational safety is paramount.
And Tyler, when we're sitting there waiting to go and you hear the captain come on board and say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a slight delay. And then you see a gal or a guy walking in with a flight line bag, coming down the jetway and coming into the cockpit. What a challenge that is for those maintenance individuals.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because it could be anything from a light bulb that's out to a major component that may have just gave up.
Yep.
And they don't just give up. I mean, you change things out well ahead of time.
Yep.
Before they fail. It's called preemptive strike on the maintenance.
Yep.
What do you offer as far as Piedmont, the organization, to help your mechanics get into the system? Do you have any partners?
Oh, we've got plenty of partners. We've got 8 maintenance bases and 8 partners. With that, we've got partners that are located strategically throughout the United States and located near our maintenance bases. Those partners that are part of our tuition payment program, which gives financial assistance to those people that qualify up to $30,000. And what that means is we have vetted these schools that allow us to take mechanics, recruit them, or potential mechanics, recruit them and give them financial aid up to $30,000 to go to a school that we have vetted that meets our standards, our values, and makes them into A&P mechanics fully certified by the time they come to Piedmont, and then they already have a job. So they roll directly into a career already, and they have a career waiting for them when they're done. The programs range anywhere between 12 and 18 months. And honestly, once you are through that whole process and you are tested and certificated, I think that's the word, right? Mm-hmm. Certificated?
Yeah.
They roll right into a job. And it's almost like a cadet program like the pilots have. And right now, if you take a look at it, the amount of money that's available to mechanics is significantly more right now than pilots. That's how important it is to us and to the airline industry in itself.
In a general way of speaking, what is the average salary level? Because some people, they associate everything, a job, with work and pay and all that. What's the average?
You're looking at about $57,000 a year, and it's actually pretty significant. As we are seeing we keep on seeing these significant pay increases, and you again keep on hearing about pilot increases and everybody else. Mechanics are getting a piece of that pie as well. AMTs are a critical piece of the airline. They're a critical safety component of the airline, and we have to make sure that we are getting quality persons, and we want to make sure they're happy. That's not only with the pay, that's also with health insurance, that's with the fringe benefits that come along with it, as well as profit sharing. The quality of life is important to us at Piedmont, and as it should be with any other carrier. And I want to make sure that we like to give love to not only our pilots and not only our mechanics, but we want to make sure our culture is covered throughout the industry. And that is one thing we like to impress upon is our culture of caring, compliance, communication, and community. We are a big community and we are a big family. And there is always going to be dysfunction in a family. There's always going to be those those days that are going to be rough, but we all come together when it's necessary, and we get the job done, and we get the job done safely, and we are rewarded for that, and we do very well. We are the top performer in the American airline portfolio under their regionals, and we outrank and outscore in almost every category for on-time performance, for zero-day cancels, along those lines. So we do a very good job. One of the things though that promotes that is the fact that we have a very senior team. And with that senior team comes retirements. And I believe that is what the reason is, when that's probably with every carrier. You're starting to see a population of mechanics that are aging and are looking ready to retire. And we are now in that same boat that we were with pilots a few years ago, where we're going to see massive retirements into the 2032s, and we're starting to see the shortage that we're going to come up short, and the gap is going to be significant, and we need to start thinking about that now. With COVID happening, we've kind of kicked that can down the road a little bit. People are starting to, they're either hanging on a little bit longer. They're starting to realize, okay, it's time to stop. And I would like to take a break now. It's time to enjoy life a little bit more instead of work. And now we are looking at, okay, now it's time to start building that pipeline back up to make sure that we have replacements for that. We had one of our VP of maintenance just celebrated his 45th anniversary, and that is a significant milestone. And I was at a senior leadership conference this last week with Piedmont. It was directors and above, and the average seniority in the room was 18 years, which, when you look at an airline that has hired so significantly in the past, I guess, well, I've been there for almost 11 years now, but we've hired significantly just across the board. Having 18 years of seniority in the same job throughout in those roles is pretty significant, especially in these days. But 45 years as a VP of maintenance, that's a long time.
It is, Tyler, and that was a very, very polite way of you saying that we're getting old. Us mechanics are getting old.
Yeah, I'm avoiding that, but you can see the little grays here, too. So I'm getting there.
They're coming out, and I prefer to use the term seasoned.
Seasons is a good one. Wisdom comes with that.
But all the way through, and if you had to ask, if someone's asked me, well, why is Piedmont the premier, or one of the beautiful operation regionals under the American moniker, it's a culture. I mean, it really is the culture of what you, both from the pipeline coming in, how you keep your people, and I'm glad that you didn't tell us that your maintenance guys and gals hopefully more than guys, are knocking down, in the six figures. It'll come.
It will.
It will get there. But everybody has to make a living, but it's not all about money.
Nope.
It's about what you enjoy, how you're taken care of. Do you get up in the morning and look forward to going to work, or, oh God, I got to go to work? No. Well, there's times maybe that Monday after a late Sunday night football game, maybe Monday is kind of slow, but you, and also in the production world, we have Monday aircraft and Friday aircraft.
Yep.
Hopefully you don't want to get one of those Monday or Friday aircraft. But in the airline, every day is just another day. There is no Monday or Friday aircraft. Every trip is like it's the first premier trip on the season. And I do look forward to learning more about the Piedmont. And you're very supportive, not only just for us as a sponsorship, but Sun and Fun. You guys are a major contributor to that little event down at Lakeland, Florida.
We are.
And Tyler, and maybe I will put you on the spot here. Why? Why are you guys so passionate and putting into little volunteer operations like us to see what we do?
We learned a long time ago, when I first started, Piedmont has always been the little engine that could, and I have always been a firm supporter of the underdog. And we learned early on that sometimes the underdogs just can't compete with the big guys. That goes in the regional airline industry up against majors or legacies. That goes with large regionals going against smaller regionals, things along those natures. But we found our niche, and our niche had always been going with smaller, less known entities. You have some of the larger air shows, you have some of the larger events that everybody wants their piece of the pie, and we kind of went the opposite direction. And when we started the talent acquisition department at Piedmont, we knew that we were climbing a mountain, and we took it step by step. And we noticed that when we got involved with Sun and Fun, we got involved with everybody that was involved with Sun and Fun. It was still a relatively small organization. And it was someone that it was a lot, well, let's just say it this way. The culture was a lot like Piedmont. And that is what drew me to it. That's what drew Piedmont to that. And it kind of helped they had a 727 there with our name on it. So that kind of drew me there as well. But, that's kind of just an added benefit. But it kind of morphed into a scenario where I realized that we had a large population of pilots and a large population of aircraft mechanics. There was an aviation high school. There was an aviation or an aero club that was on the Sun and Fun campus. That's where I met you all. And it all kind of came together. And as time has gone on, our sponsorship and our relationships have grown exponentially, which has created relationships, right? And these relationships have paid off tenfold. And what I learned early on in recruiting is it's not about the sheer numbers of people you can bring into your organization. It's about the cultural add to your organization, not the cultural fit, but the cultural add. But it's also about the amount of work you put into the people that you want in your company. And what you put out there is what you're going to get back. And if I go to one event and I get one person out of it, that event was worth it. And it's that quality person, that quality mechanic or quality pilot or quality ground handling agent. It's worth that sponsorship. And I have seen that time and time again out of Sun and Fun. I've seen it out of the smaller organizations. I've seen it out of the small flight schools, the Part 61 flight schools that we go to. These cadet programs started time and time again, and everybody was going after these very large flight schools, and we just couldn't compete. And we knew that if we took our organization in a different direction and we opened it up to a larger audience and reduced the requirements for insurance and for the cadet to be possibly a Part 61 pilot versus a Part 141 pilot, and that they could have a commercial pilot's license in 500 hours versus a CFI in 250 hours. There was a range of things that I could manipulate and get those one or two more pilots coming in. And I believe me that when I did that, it opened up a whole new world for us. And it gave us an opportunity, and we took it. And it was one of the best things we ever did. And now I will say that same thing for our TPP, our tuition payment program with our mechanics. It is a one-of-a-kind program, and it is succeeding wonderfully.
Well, let's see it succeed some more. And Tyler, I got to say, you're coming along. Because did you catch it? He said, you all, that's where we met, you all. You're going to make it to y'all.
One of these days.
One of these days. You're living in the Southeast now.
I am.
So it's got to be y'all. That's where we met y'all. As a matter of fact, Winston-Salem, that's where I learned to speak proper English. I was raised up in North Carolina, and I am a Tar Heel, but I got sand in my shoes because I was born in Orlando. So enough about me. Let's talk about your maintenance, folks, and how long does it take? And hopefully we didn't talk about this, not to put you on the spot. How long does it take to make a profitable a mechanic that's able to, he or she, to actually contribute to the organization and be tasked with events inside the organization that require experience and skill? How long does it take to make a skilled mechanic?
So a mechanic coming to us from school, probably, so once they have their A&P, will probably take up to 6 months to really get them fully into the line and unsupervised. And that's just dependent on how fast they pick up what we're training them, correct? So they're going to go through our in-doc, they're going to go through our initial training, and then they're going to be put out on the line, obviously supervised, and then they're going to go through our steps to be certified. We're not just going to let them loose on our aircraft, coming out of school. That's not fair to them, and we want to set them up for success. And obviously, there's always going to be supervision regardless. That's why we have inspectors. That's why we have QA. There's all sorts of other things that we do. But from start to finish, if you start school now, you would probably be done, depending on which school you go to. You would start today, you'll be done probably with graduation within 12 to 18 months, depending on the program you choose. And then once you're there, let's give it 6 months of, let's say, probationary period through training. And then you're out on the line doing what you need to do. And that would give you the opportunity to also learn if you want to do avionics, if you may want to go into maintenance control, or if you want to go into any other aspect of the industry within the maintenance department. So it's not just turning wrenches, it's also other components, right? We've got specialty components that we need help with, or specialty places within the operations. So like maintenance control, which is like dispatch for the airline pilots, only it's the maintenance side, right?
Critical, key.
So critical.
And you mentioned the schools, and Part 61, Part 141, that's on the operational side of the house.
Yep.
Maintenance side of the house is Part 147.
Correct.
Is a school. And some people use the frame of reference of quick and dirty, because you go and pay and it's grueling, or the long and the hard. You can get your A&P just by physical work on an aircraft underneath someone. It might take you 3 years to get it, as opposed to a 147 school of a year and a half, average probably. But I mean, that's every day, 5 days a week. Well, they give you the weekends off usually, but that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Starting early in the morning and go until late in the afternoon, and it does take time. And I'm glad that you put at least 6 months before you put them in your organization to actually accomplish a task.
Correct.
It takes a long time, and actually to become a seasoned mechanic. And the thing about the airlines is you may have a certain specialty. You work in hydraulics, you work structures, flight controls, tires and brakes.
Yep.
And I know that you guys move them around a certain time to let them cross-train and to become the total mechanic for throwing anything. And probably your flight line mechanics that's the cream of the crop.
Yep.
I mean, those are the ones that, what do you look for when you go to, getting ahead of myself in segment 2. I'm going to back that up.
All right.
Talent acquisition, when you're going to look for a mechanic, and how many, just numbers, just volume, average, how many folks do you interview for your program, for your tuition assistance?
It can be, we probably go through, I would probably say we open an application window twice a year. We're looking at around 200 applications per opening. and that would be broken down by base. And with that many maintenance bases, we have to then narrow that field down as well. And that is based on, for the program itself, is based on location. It is based on academic performance. It's based on your extracurriculars, and it is also based on what your history is. What is your inclination? What makes you want to be a mechanic? Do you have experience coming from, let's say you worked on a farm? Were you turning wrenches in your dad's automotive shop? Were you an ASC certified mechanic? Or, there's all sorts of different pieces that you can go along with. But I will tell you something that we look at and we look at hard is we look at you as a person. We want to know just more about, we don't want to know just that you can turn a wrench. We want to know what you do outside of work. We want to know that you are a well-rounded individual. Like with me, I'm not just an airline guy. I'm also an EMT. I'm also a firefighter. I'm also a vet tech. There's reasons for that. I also deal with things in my community. And there's always something else to do. And I want to make sure not only am I serving aviation, but I'm also serving my community. And I want to make sure that falls into our culture. And that is important to me. That's important to the CEO. And that's just important to us in general, that we make sure that we're coming back to our I want to call them pillars, but it's our 4 C's. So caring, compliance, communication, and community. And that's what it falls down to.
Well, and again, we're going to talk a little bit more about the operational side on segment 2, but the maintenance side of the house is, it's for the love and the romance of aviation. It's not always about the money.
Correct.
And if you're not happy going to work, you're not going to do a good job. That's just a fact. We're human. It's our human nature. So you really got to enjoy what you do. And I don't know of anybody that doesn't like hanging out at the airport at night. All those pretty little blue, actually they're lunar white, but they're blue lights for the taxiways, and it's very, very romantic.
It's very peaceful.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Particularly when the weather's down.
Yeah, for sure.
I noticed that we're in the next couple decades, we're going to need over 200,000 mechanics. And that's not just folks that have signed up to go to school. That's coming out the end of their training.
Yep.
And we really need to pay attention to that, because you could be one of those 200,000. And Tyler, we're going to wrap up segment 1. That went too fast.
It did.
And but we're going to come back with segment 2 in just a few minutes. But don't go away. We'll see you next interview.